Hi, today I'm going to give you some suggestions with a few poses you can do, especially if you're a runner and you need hip opening postures. So I'm going to guide you through a very short sequence. It's something you can do very often in your routine. If you have some time when you finish your day, you're watching TV, you can grab your mat and just relax a little bit. I'm sure it's going to help you. It has helped me a lot. I still have to improve a lot, but it's something that we need to work every week. I suggest 3 times a week if you can. It's a very good idea. So let's begin with a very simple pose, the child's pose. So everybody who does yoga knows this pose. First, we can try the wide angle child's pose, which means you're gonna keep your knees apart and try to lower your hips. And you can touch your toes as well. And once you're here and you let your hips sink, you can slowly start walking with your hands. I have 2 blocks here. Props are very good. I'm going to show you how you can use them as well. So if you can sink your hips down a little bit, and this is a good pose for you, you can walk with your arms and stretch them and place your forehead on the mat and just relax here a little bit. If this pose is too difficult for you, I still need to improve this pose a lot as well because my hips don't go down as much. One thing you can do is you can use a block. You can sit on a block. So instead of touching your toes, you're going to put a block between your feet, and then you can comfortably sit here. So the blocks, you can either sit like this, or you can use the higher one if this is more comfortable for you, or even stack 2 blocks. So for example, for me, this is comfortable. I'm going to use this other block to place my forehead so that I can relax in this pose. So this pose is about relaxing. You can stay there as long as you want. You can count 20 breaths, or you can just count some time until you feel this has loosened up a little bit. And this is very helpful, and it's a very good pose to begin with. So then another pose you can do is you can go to tabletop position, and then you can bring your right foot forward, and you can place your left foot on the mat. Hands, your knees or your thighs are between your arms. Make sure you keep your knees and your heels aligned here in this pose, and your back is straight. So you can just relax here a little bit. Again, you can use your blocks. So if this is very hard for you, if placing your hand on the mat is very hard, one thing you can do is you can place a block here and one here, so your foot is between the block, and here you can also try to lower your hips. So just holding here, it can be quite intense, especially if you don't stretch that often. So this is good enough. If not, as I said, the blocks, you can use a higher version or even here, and make sure that your back is straight and that you're stretching here. Make sure that you go back slowly. You can go back to tabletop position and then do the other side as well, the same thing. You can try either placing your hands on the mat. If this is too hard, you're going to use a block, 2 blocks. You're going to keep your back straight. If this is not enough, remember, you can always use the second height or even the 3rd one. And just make sure that your hips go down that your tailbone is going towards the mat, and you'll feel a very deep stretch here. So now let's go back to tabletop again. And once again, you're going to bring your right knee forward, but this time you're going to keep your arms inside. So you can make a little bit open the angle with your feet. Bring your toes to the side a little bit and just stay here for a while. Remember, you can always use blocks. Another thing you can do is you can bring your right hand to your knee. You can even bend your foot and open your knee. Look up and stretch, feel the stretch. If you want, if you can, this is easy for you, or in the future if you're stretching often, one thing you can do is that you can also grab this foot and it's going to deepen your stretch. You're going to feel your quads stretching a lot. So just hold here for a bit. Make sure that you respect your limits. Go a step at a time. Now go back to tabletop position again. We're going to do the other side. So bring your left foot forward. First, you just hold here. You can use the blocks, as I said. Make sure this is comfortable for you. If you feel this is good, this is okay, you're going to use your left hand and keep your knee apart. You can also bend your foot and just place the side of your foot on the mat. And then to deepen the stretch, you're gonna bring your hand, your feet together, your foot together, and you're gonna look up. And this is a very deep stretch, so make sure you only do this if this is very comfortable for you. You're gonna hold here for a bit, and you're gonna release and go back to tabletop. So you can also lie down. An easy version of a good stretch is that you can lie down and grab your right knee first. So try to bring it close to your chest. Make sure that this doesn't hurt your knee. There's no problem here. You're gonna hold this for a bit and then change. Make sure you're aware of the differences you have from left to right. So you might feel one side is tighter than the other. Respect that. And you can hold here for a bit and then stretch. So now we're going to do the recline pigeons pose, which you're going to cross your right leg over your quad. You're going to grab your left knee and you can try to bring it towards your chest. Here again, you're going to feel a deep stretch, your glutes. Make sure that you respect your limit here all the time. This is roll number 1. Then you're going to change. Do this very gently. This is already a very, very good exercise. It's going to help you a lot. You hold here for a while. from this one is Happy Baby. So you can just grab your feet and with your elbows, you can help the stretch, hip opening stretch. This is a very relaxing pose, so you can always do this. I'm sure you're gonna like it. Okay, now let's sit and go back to tabletop position. And then we're gonna do the Pigeons Pose. You're gonna bring your right foot here. So for me, it's very difficult to make a square. I usually have to make an angle here. I'm gonna face you so that you can see it. I'm like this because it's easier for me. If I have to do this, it's very difficult. So I'm gonna keep my foot here under my body. I'm gonna turn to the side again. So first, you can start with the passive Pigeons Pose, which is just placing your head on the mat and relaxing here. And then, if you want to go deeper into this pose, you're gonna bring your hands up. You're gonna lift your upper body. One thing you can do, if there's a gap between your hips and the mat, which happens to me, so one thing that helps me is to place a block here. I can stay here. I'm already in a very deep stretch. If I want to stretch a little bit more, I can also grab my left foot. I can stay here, or I can bring my foot even further. And if you can go even deeper in this pose, you're gonna hold hands and you're gonna feel a very, very deep stretch here. So make sure that you respect the stages and you do things slowly. So let's go to the other side. It's best for you to do the same. Try to repeat the same thing you did on one side, do it to the next. So let's start with the passive Pigeons Pose. You hold here for a bit. If this is comfortable, you can try to bring your upper body up. And if you have used the block on the other side, you're going to do the same thing here. It's going to give you more stability because you don't want to roll to this side or to this side. So a block will keep you stable and will close the gap between your hip and mat. And if you can go a little bit further, you're going to do the same. You can grab this foot with your hand. And if you can go deeper in the pose, you're gonna grab your hands and feel the stretch, very, very deep stretch here, and hold this pose for a few breaths. You undo the posture, and let's do a very simple pose, Baddha Konasana. You're gonna sit sideways, so you're gonna put your feet together. You're gonna try to bring your hip as close as possible as you can to your heels, and with your hands, you're gonna keep your back straight and breathe here. So your intention is to bring your knees down. This is very difficult for me as well. And you have to hold in this posture for a few breaths so that you can improve in it. You're gonna stay here in the beginning And then the next thing you're gonna do is that you're gonna use your hands to grab the inner part of your feet, and you're gonna open them as if you're opening a book. And with your elbows, what you can do is that you can push your legs down. So this is gonna help hip opening. Make sure that you are careful with your back. Try not to make curve your back so much. So try to keep it straight and start bringing it down your upper body as close as possible to your feet. This is very intense. And you're gonna hold here for a few breaths. Protect your back always. Okay, so from here, let's take advantage that we're in this pose and let's stretch our legs. One thing you can do here as well is you can sit on a block. This is gonna help you a lot. It has helped me a lot. This is a very, very difficult pose for me. So I need to practice. I need to stay here for a long time if I can. So from here, you're gonna inhale and exhale and grab your feet and try to stay here. So again, you're gonna try to keep your back straight. Be careful with that. You don't need to put your head down, so just stay here. You can also bring your arms forward. You can place your hands on the block and just stay here. This posture is very, very good. And you can stay a long time in it. You're gonna feel a very, very deep stretch. And the more you do this, the better it's gonna feel. So you can use the block or not use the block, it's up to you. Use props, they always help. So then, let's go to the final posture. We're gonna stand. Feet apart. Your toes are facing the outer part of the mat, and you're gonna go into Malasana. You're gonna sink your hips down, and you're gonna use, so you stretch your arms, and with your elbows, you're gonna help the hip opening here. So make sure that your back is straight. This is, you can concentrate and stay here for a bit. There's one thing you can do if this is very difficult for you. You can roll your mat, and then you will create a support for your heels. It's going to be higher. So it's easier if you place your heels on something higher, and from here you go down again. So you stretch your arms and use your elbows to keep your legs apart and to deepen the stretch. And you can also stay here for a while and breathe in this pose. Okay, so this is it. I hope I have helped you with these postures. I really like them. They have helped me a lot. And if you do it 2-3 times a week, it's not very long. Try to add this to your routine. I think it's going to be very helpful, especially if you're a runner.